In tonight's Fox in Focus, we are joined by Republican Congressman Kevin Brady of the Woodlands. Congressman, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
So you just came out of your second town hall meeting since the Supreme Court decision last week. What are the people you represent saying?
Well, we're having a huge turnout in both of our town hall meetings. They're very upset about the Supreme Court decision. You know, they believe, and they're right, that Obamacare will drive up the cost of their health care. It is bad for the economy. We know it's going to drive up the deficit, but I think they're most worried about having 159 new federal bureaucracies and agencies in between them and their doctor. And they want health care reform. They're just convinced this is exactly the wrong solution.
Right, the House is expected to pass that measure to repeal the health care law next week, but the Democrat-controlled Senate, of course, isn't going to go along with that. So then what's next?
You know, I think at the end of the day, the Supreme Court, in effect, said we can't protect the American people against their political decisions. And so it really comes back to the American people on November 6th to decide if they want to vote a president back in or a Senate back in that will allow this new health care takeover to go forward. I think a lot of Americans have said from the get-go this is not the right solution, so I'm hopeful they make a change.
Well, depending on which poll you look at, 52 or 53%, somewhere around there, of Americans favor repealing the health care law as of today. Do you expect this will last, and do you think it will drive people to the polls in November?
You know, I think it's going to be a real motivator, and here's why. You know, we've seen a lot of sugar from Medicare or from Obamacare so far, but what we haven't seen are all the cuts on our seniors for Medicare Advantage plans, our local hospitals, our home health care agencies, even our hospice and nursing homes. They're all going to get major cuts, which come after the November election, but more, and we have 21 tax increases hidden in that bill that land on middle-class families. More and more people now know about this, so I think the dissatisfaction with this bill is going to continue to grow through the election.
I know there's been a lot of focus on the repeal part of this, but part of the Republican mantra, if you will, is repeal and replace. So replace with what, and what about those things that are popular in this bill?
You know, what was shared in both the Republican and the President's bill was allowing young people to stay on their parents' health care plans till 26, making sure we cover people with pre-existing illnesses. That isn't the issue. The issue is, should government make your decisions on health care? Or do people want more choices? Do they want small businesses to have a broader range of plans? Do we want a lower cost health care because this drives up healthcare costs, and do we want to drive out all those frivolous lawsuits that drive up healthcare costs? I think when people look at that and the option to have perhaps a worker backpack to choose a healthcare plan that's right for them, to take from state to state and job to job and to home, one that fits them, not what fits Washington, I think they're going to like the alternatives to Obamacare.
All right, well, for or against, we will all be watching in the weeks and months to come. Congressman, thank you for joining us tonight.
You know, thank you.